Alright, got 3 things here, and last night did send you at least number 1, but I'll send everything in one email today. And in the email signature, I got there's a link. I think I mentioned it yesterday, but in case I didn't, at the very bottom of the signature, it says like how to practice your lessons. So there's a video there. Please definitely watch that. It'd be very helpful. It basically sums up what we're doing here. So it talks about like when to add in these repetitions, which we will do. But basically, real quick, it says you're gonna take 10 minutes, getting this as fast as you can. And after those 10 minutes are up, then you start working in repetitions. If you max out in less time than 10 minutes, you can start working in the repetitions early. And then it talks about here in that video and at the top of the page how you need to decrease your tempo as many times as you have to in order to get the repetitions in. So basically you're going to work this up, no repeats. So ignore the repeat sign for now. And then after 10 minutes, you're going to play this twice through. Basically play that 2 times and then you got your chord. When you can play that 2 times through, then you get 3 times. And then, once you can do it 3 times in a row, you do it 4. So, that's the quick explanation. But that video I mentioned, it will give more detail on what to do. Alright, so, counting out loud, yes, I'd like you to do that from 60 to at least 120. And after 120, if you can keep saying it, if you keep saying the rhythm past 120, great. Not necessary, but definitely helpful. Eventually you're going to get to a point where it's just too fast, and so not a big deal. Tap the foot as much as you can as well. So in the slow tempos, tapping every click with the metronome, definitely doable. But as you get past that 120 mark, it starts to get exhausting for the foot and the calf muscle and all that. So when I'm playing faster stuff, I will begin to tap my foot on the first and third beats instead of all 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, big thing here, big thing. Without the repeat, if you get these up to at least 240, I want you to make a video and send it over early. Speaking of videos, I'm going to be saying quite a few things here because this is the first recap in our first actual lesson week. Next week, when we meet, we have to see how things are going. So every week, what we do is going to be determined by how well you did throughout the week. So let's say like number 2, like rhythm number 2 here, is like a big struggle, you didn't get too far, you're having lots of problems. That's okay. Then I will give you stuff to help with those problem areas. But let's say you're just kicking some serious ass with all this and you're just blazing through. Well, then that will determine that we need to do more difficult things right away or just move on to the next set of ideas, right? So everything's going to be about pushing we're going to be pushing you past your comfort zone just a little bit. I don't want it to be too much out of your comfort zone, but it can't be easy either, or else we don't grow. So I want you to focus on accuracy above all else. Speed is a byproduct of playing accurately at faster and faster tempos. So we need to chase the accuracy, not the speed. Because anytime somebody starts trying to chase the speed, they sacrifice accuracy in order to hit the higher number, supposedly. But if it wasn't accurate, you didn't hit anything. You just slopped through it. So, yeah, we need to make sure we get perfect practice here. And when mistakes happen, we need to address them right away. And that should be talked about in that video I mentioned again. So, counting out loud, yes, from 60 to 120. Sorry, my brain just went to the wrong thought. We were talking about meeting next week. Yes. So there's a couple ways we can do this. And either way you're comfortable with is totally fine with me. We can demonstrate things at the very beginning of the lesson. Depending on how fast you got will determine like what I ask you to play up to. Typically, I ask people to play things up to 10 or 20 under their max for the week. So very important, track your progress. Make sure you track how fast you get at the end of each practice session. And if you prefer, you can record yourself playing things and send that over, so this way you don't have that pressure of having to perform at the beginning of the lesson. But it's fine either way. A lot of people prefer doing the videos because it's less pressure, and I can more quickly review things too. So if you want, we can just start off with you demonstrating things at the beginning of the lesson. If you prefer to do a video, then what I ask is just basically record almost like the final practice session that you're going to do. Just going from 60 up in 5s until you max out. No need to record the repetition. Okay? Just building up from 60 up in 5s, that's fine. Recording the whole thing is best because I can see how it goes into the starting speed, make sure it sounds accurate, and then I can check out the higher speed or the highest speed in the video and see how accurate that is. If the high speed is not accurate, then what I do is I go back towards the middle of the video or wherever I need to find out, okay, how long does it stay correct and when does it become incorrect? So this way I can pinpoint where things go wrong if they do. So, well, when people do that, a lot of times they'll just upload it to YouTube and mark it as unlisted, because a lot of people don't want to have people or have others find their videos. So that's totally fine. Just if you list it as private, I won't be able to see it. So make sure it's marked unlisted if you do the YouTube route. If you have another way you want to upload and send videos, that's fine too. As long as I can see it, that's all that matters. So I can make a video for number 1, a video for number 2, a video for number 3, that would be fine. Or if you want to do just a big massive one, that's fine too. As long as I get to see and hear how things are going, that's what we want. Now, I think that about covers everything. So, once again, lots more detail on how to practice and all that in the video, linked in my email signature. Alright, so number 1, each bar is different. If you need to, focus on 1 or 2 bars at a time until you start to feel comfortable with it. And then, like we pointed out yesterday, this is the same rhythm as up top, just notated a little different. Got rid of all the tied 8th notes, except for this one because it's going across the bar. So when it goes across that bar line, we have to use ties. And I'm going to demonstrate this stuff at some different speeds, and then play the 4 repetitions thing at the end. This way you can compare what you're doing to what the video is, and you can follow along. Very good idea, follow along, especially at the slower speed. Well, just especially when you're starting out, just to make sure everything looks and sounds correct. And also a great idea, check it midweek and end week. Because every now and then students will they'll start off well, and then for some reason during the week they just kind of forget what it was they were supposed to do, and then they end up practicing things wrong, and had they just double checked the recap, they would have been okay. So the only way the recap works is if you use it. Alright, starting at 60 beats per minute, I will count off 4 so you know when I'm going to start, so you can jump in with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 4. 1, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and done. No need to let that last chord ring out all 4 beats. Just hit it and get out of there. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 4. 1 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and done. Make sure you're strumming the same way that I am. Every time it's down beat, we strum down. Every time it's an upbeat, we strum up. So basically keep that hand moving at a steady pace the entire time. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 240, which reminds me, I started this thought and didn't finish it. If you hit 240 before next week, record that. Just send the 240 over, and this way I know, you're good on this. You don't need to keep working on it. We can move on to the next thing or shift our focus on to the last 2 things. So any of these, you hit 240, record that, send it over as soon as you can, and this way we can move on a little earlier. But if you don't hit 240, that's fine. You don't have to hit 240. You don't have to hit 180. I just want you to be accurate with this stuff, okay? So that being said, here is 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go back down to 200 and demonstrate the repetitions. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 2. So, I think you did this, you did do something like this in the rhythm work sets, but we're going to look at it a little different here. So this one, 6 bars, and we got the easy to read notation, and then the not so easy to read notation right underneath it. The exercise number 1, or strumming number 1, that is in the key of A minor or C major, same thing. Same thing in terms of what notes are being used, that is. This we're going to be playing in A harmonic minor. And I believe, because I remember you said something like a tricky rhythm was going 8th note, quarter note, 8th note, quarter note over and over again. So we're going to do that again. And it's going to be a bit longer and have that be the constant idea. Just 8th note, quarter note, 8th note, quarter note, 8th note, quarter note, over and over and over again. So continually switching between going down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And yeah, here we go. 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 4. 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 4. Done. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 4. 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 4. Done. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down to 200 for the repeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. So this one, lots of upbeat or offbeat focus, and got the 8th note count up here to make it easier to figure these things out. So each one of these, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that represents an 8th note. Each one of these numbers or letter ends. So we got the 8 8th notes that fill up the bar, and we got 8 little things right here. So when you're looking looking to line up what's in here with this 8th note grid. So the way I like to think of it is, you underline. If you underlined each part you play on, that's how the count would go. So that's on the 1, so downbeat of 1, and then the next thing we have an 8th note, so that's the upbeat of 1, and then that's tied to the downbeat of 2, and then we have this 8th note, so that's on the upbeat of 2. That's tied to the downbeat of 3. Then we play again on the upbeat of 3, so and then quarter note there, so that's the 4. So this bar we have 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 4. This guy we have 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and. This guy, we're coming in on the upbeat of 1 because this chord is tied over to that. So this bar we would have and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. And this guy also coming in on the upbeat of 1 because this chord is tied across the bar. We have and 3, 4 and 3, 4 and 3, 4 and 3, 4 and. And then underneath this we have the same rhythm notated without all those ties, or at least as few as possible. So rhythm is 100% the same. So any questions come up with this idea, please let me know. Let's get into playing this sucker. Again, any parts that give you extra trouble, focus on those. And 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 4, 1. I just played that chord incorrectly. So we have a couple inverted 5th chords here. So like the C5 over G in bar number 2. And then bar number 3 you have a B5 over F sharp. Hold it like that. So you're going to bar the E and A string with your index finger. Pinky hits the high note. This will make it easier to go between this chord and that kind of chord. From the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 4. 1. This is in the key of E minor, also known as G major. 120, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 4. 1, 2 and 2. 3 and 4 and done. 180, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I just do a repeat? My brain wandered off on me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. did. Okay, no repeat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Alright, 200. This time repetition. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go. All right. Any questions, please let me know, and I will see you again next week.